be live on the YouTube channel in just well, right now.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining. Nathan, our chair, had something come up this afternoon and is unable to join us. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I know everyone has, tight schedules, and I appreciate you taking time out to join us. I do want to introduce, well, Marcus, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Marcus James. I am the successor of Mary Zell. So I'm now the new administrative coordinator. So
Awesome. Nice to meet you virtually, and I look forward to meeting you in person soon.
absolutely.
So awesome. Thank you, Marcus, for joining us today. Lauren, I hope you've been doing well and things are progressing nicely.
Yeah.
Good. I had sent over the agenda ahead of time and the meeting minutes from February. Did you have any questions or comments or any updates that we need to make to the February minutes?
I didn't. Everything looked like I remembered.
Awesome. We'll get those posted, but great. Well, and I'm very much a visual person. I like to be able to kind of showcase some of the things that we're doing instead of just talking about it. So I like to have a slide deck for some of our things. So I'm just going to run through some of the things for the reporting quarter, but feel free to jump in with any comments, questions, anything that comes up.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. Awesome. Okay. So just our usual, I'll touch base on our quarterly numbers and some of those highlights for the programming at the museum, outreach, some of our upcoming things. And then we'll just kind of have, grant updates, discussion time, all of that fun stuff. But just looking at our quarterly comparison, so for this board meeting, we're covering the January through March quarter. And so you can see our numbers are very on track from pre-pandemic. We've been very busy. So our total programs for the quarter was just shy of 300. We had 291 programs that we presented. And then for the quarter, we served 5,414 students. And so, we were quite busy, but you can see, I really like to be able to compare back to the previous quarters for comparison. And of course, you can see it's obvious our distance learning, even though we're still providing that as an option, the teachers and leaders just really prefer that in-person, hands-on learning opportunities, but we still offer that as an option. And of course, with our outreach numbers, that is our Martinsville here with us doing the programs, but also our Charlottesville educators and then the Eastern Shore educator conducting programs. So they have, incorporated their numbers with those too.
Mm-hmm.
And then just some highlights of our programming for the quarter. Our at the museum programs are those things like our festivals. And so Our most recent temporary exhibit is the Masters of the Night, the focus on bats. And so we had a wonderful Masters of the Night event. And so we provided some craft and, some fun opportunities for the kids. But we also took that opportunity to kind of educate the parents while the kids were coloring. You might notice there's a bat house kind of in the middle of the table, and the bat specimen and the skeletons. So we took that opportunity while the kids are coloring to not only share some information with the kids, but also the adults about, if you're seeing bats around your house, you can put up these bat houses. We had a QR code that took them to Bat Conservation International website, and they had a great basically make yourself bat house. So we took the opportunity to kind of share some of that information out, the importance of bats, even as pollinators and things like that, while they were coloring their crafts. So that was really fun event. Kids had a great time with that, and it's an awesome exhibit. Also during our reporting quarter, the education department hosted a Project Learning Tree teacher workshop. And so Project Learning Tree is a environmental education curriculum. And so we have presented workshops in the past, and so these are geared for formal and informal teachers. And so we had about 15 participants, and both formal and informal. So we were serving Martinsville City Schools, Henry County Schools, Pennsylvania County, Danville City. We even had from Roanoke come down to participate. And so it was a full day workshop, environmental education activities. And so after the full day of, being outside doing things, inside doing things, they received their certificates, but also a wonderful curriculum guide. And it's it has over, close to 50 activities in it that are just ready to go for the classrooms or for informal teachers, whether it's a 4-H person leading groups or museum, educators. All of the activities are correlated to Virginia science standards. So for those formal teachers, it's a great way to incorporate that into their classroom curriculum and have that vested information that they know that it's going to be correct and supporting their curriculum. So it was a lot of fun. I'm actually looking at potential dates for new workshops. We have a couple of other environmental education curriculum that we offer. There's a Project WET, which is all about water quality. And so we're looking at some things with that. So that was a lot of fun. During the reporting time, so February, we hosted every single Danville City School 5th grade class at the museum. And so they were able to explore the exhibit areas, and they actually participated in 2 different programs with our education staff. So one was called Speedy Building, and they are creating Lego cars. And so it goes into engineering, but also they had to calculate speed for their vehicle. So there was some, everything from the engineering aspect to kind of the, physics aspect of it, but also math. We had them measuring and calculating the distance and speed of their vehicles. And then the other program was conducted in the microscopy lab. And so it was a geology-based program. And so they had various rock and mineral samples that they had to kind of go step by step to identify the samples that they were working with. And then kind of become part of the rock cycle to figure out how their rock or mineral had formed. So we had several days of working with these classes. It was so much fun. This was our second year doing this, and I'm very excited to report that we have just lined up dates for the fall for them to return and work with us again, visiting the exhibits and working with different programs. So very exciting working
Do
with.
they normally come twice a year, or will you just kind of switch to the fall this time?
And that was, we were trying to figure out what would work best for their schedule and, you know, just our schedule as well. And so we were looking at, do we want to keep it in February, but we really opted for the fall. And then, we were looking at if the individual schools would want to do other field trips, have them intermix throughout the whole year. And what we saw this year was because of the fifth grades visiting from all of the Danville City schools, some of the other grade levels contacted us, and we work with some just, you know, on a regular basis, but some that, you know, we haven't worked with in a while contacted to line up programming. So it was a great opportunity to kind of branch out to serve more of that audience.
Mhm.
And then, of course, our outreach still tends to be kind of our popular option for the teachers, where we just bring our material into the classrooms and kind of rotate through the various classes. And so we have everything from exploring soil and looking at the different components of soil, learning about that clay, and how that's impossible to get out of your clothes, but and also exploring nature outside. And this is a really fun one. The photos on this slide are from the park that's right behind the museum. And so we worked with the elementary school that is on the other side of the park with exploring nature in the park. And so we had various stations in which they were talking about animal habitats and animal needs and playing a game to kind of reinforce that. Looking for insects, talking about insect life cycles, and then looking to see what kind of insects they could find. We also made seed balls with wildflower seeds, in which they used some soil and the wildflower seeds and created these little seed balls that they could take home with them and just plant out in their yard for some nice wildflowers. So we were talking about plant life cycles and just the importance of plants. So it was a packed day. I think everyone was kind of exhausted by the end of the day, but it was so much fun. And a lot of the kids, you know, just talk about how, you know, they hadn't been outside. You know, it's not the norm of going to play outside anymore and looking for bugs and things like that. So just being able to kind of embrace nature and obviously in a safe way too. But yeah, so outreach is still very much a popular option. Our Charlottesville educators are still working with some of the senior centers. So that's a nice project that they've started working on, and are looking at like monthly or every other month programming with senior centers in Charlottesville. So that's exciting to get reports from them. So we have our scholarships so that our teachers can take advantage of this to cover the program costs. So since our programs, whether at the museum or outreach, they're small fee-based. Working with, Ryan Barber and other staff here to secure some grants, so that we can offer scholarships, and, teachers apply for the scholarship. It is like a needs-based, scholarship, which, our area, meets those needs. And so it's a very simple application process. And so right now, I updated the agenda. So we received funds from Boxley Materials. And so this is a continued partnership. They've been a great, partner, to work with various projects at the museum, with the scholarships being one of them. We've also submitted for Thurman Charitable Foundation for the 24-25 school year. So we will hear from them around September. And then we've also put in our annual budget request with Martinsville City and Henry County. And those funds go towards our 2 full-time educator salaries.
Okay.
So it looks promising that those will be approved for this upcoming year. So fingers crossed with that. So we're really excited for the upcoming school year of already having some scholarship opportunities, to be able to offer, and then hopefully we'll secure some more. What else? And so right now we are kind of switching gears from, the school year into summer camp mode. And so we have planned 4 summer camps, throughout the summer. So June, July, and August, we have 4 camps. And so we have it broken down for age groups, ages 6 to 8, and then 9 to 11. They are fee-based. We do offer a member rate, a discounted member rate, but we also have scholarships available for our summer camps too. We received funding through Virginia Master Naturalist, as well as Kiwanis, as well as an individual donor who had offered up for various summer camps. So we're already well underway with registration. One is very close to being already full. Our first one's almost full. So we're really looking forward to the summer camps, getting those going. So exciting times. We're also booking, our summer programming is heavy with library systems that are doing their summer reading programs. So we're working with local surrounding counties for those programs, and then a lot of our after school providers. So during the summer we have the Boys and Girls Clubs that are running, the YMCA's that are running, and our local MHC after 3, the Martinsville Henry County after 3, run summer programs. So we already have programming scheduled with all of them. Our MHC after 3, we literally have every week in June, the entire month of June, basically, we're working with each of their sites. So every day in June, we have programming with the MHC after 3. So yes, it's, but really looking forward to all of that. But, so yeah, it's a lot happening, a lot of fun stuff, but Lauren, I know I kind of blew through that. Is there anything that you want me to revisit, or any questions or anything?
The only question, and I just didn't want to interrupt while you were talking about camps. But is it 15 kids or 20 per?
We have about 16 kids.
Okay.
And we just try to keep it, with staff, because it's one staff, and then we have one volunteer, that's with the camp too. And it's full week, it's Monday through Friday, from 9 to 4.
Yeah.
So it's full day also, and, we even offer, before care and after care. So,
okay.
depending on schedules, we have a lot of people take advantage of the before and after care so that, it can accommodate their schedule. But
That's
yeah.
great. Awesome. Well, everything sounds like you guys are gearing up to, to have a busy summer.
And I completely forgot to mention, of course, we have Dino Festival.
Yes.
I know.
Oh, and that's July, right?
That's in July, so we're also, working towards that, but.
That's exciting.
But it's been a whirlwind, January through March for our reporting time. But a lot of fun things. We've had a lot of sleepovers. I think this was something that I mentioned at our last committee meeting, how we're kind of seeing an increase in the sleepovers, and for January through March, we did have one sleepover per month. And we had, I think it was Richmond, Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Harrisonburg. So it was kind of, all around that participated in the sleepovers. And we have actually next month, June, we have a school that is going to bring about 60 of their students
Oh, gosh.
for a sleepover. And so that I know. And then I think we have one either August or September. So they're still rolling in too, but yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great that they're coming from, they're not just like local, they're coming from all
Exactly.
over. Mhm.
Exactly. We had one, actually it was the beginning of this month, that was local, from around the Smith Mountain Lake, Moneta area. And that was a homeschool group. So we're seeing, scouts that are working on their various, badges and patches, but then we've had homeschool groups, kind of the co-ops, and, the public school, that's gonna be next month. So it's kind of an interesting mix of, groups.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
that's awesome. I think those were my major points to kind of highlight from the quarter. Make sure I didn't miss anything real quick. No. And of course, I'll keep everyone updated with our grants, how those progress. But yeah.
With the grants, I'm sure it's competitive when people apply, but do you run out pretty quickly, or do you feel like you have enough that kind of cover most of the people?
So we do end up running out. And the way we did it this past school year, I have our contact list of principals, superintendents, and, curriculum specialists, that sort of level, that we send it out to and say, it is a, first come, first serve availability. And so then, we do see that insurgence of applications, and, we try to make sure that it's distributed widely. We try to make sure that, it is a fair process with everyone. So yes, but it goes quick. It's usually about a week of flurry of emails and lining everything up, but yes.
So basically, we got to find you guys some more grants.
I know. And that's, we do have our schools that, when, say, for example, this school year, when we did run out of the scholarship funds, and I would, let them know that they would say, well, okay, we can go to our PTO or our
Oh, great.
PTA organizations, and cover the funds. So some, we're still willing to, pay.
Mm.
But we do have some that they do not have a lot of the financial support. And that's why we try to keep our fees low for our school programs. But yeah,
Awesome.
grants are a great opportunity, to provide the scholarships.
It's easier said than done than about finding them.
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, I don't think I have any more questions, but
Awesome. Well, great. Great. Well, I think we can call that a wrap for our committee meeting, and look forward to seeing you virtually Saturday.
yeah, I should be on.
Awesome. Awesome. That sounds great. Well, thank you. And if there's anything that comes up, don't hesitate to email me.
Awesome. All right. Thank y'all very much.
I thank you for your